Hi Leo, happy birthday. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you guys are doing really well. Welcome to mid-July. I wanted to do a sort of a mid-July reading for you just because I think the astrology is super important and I think the difference between the 2 months is night and day. So there's a lot I think that is taking place at the end of July that's going to be really important and relevant in August also. So why don't we do a sort of mid-July and then we'll do an August reading for you guys also as a happy birthday. I love you. You're so fabulous kind of thing. So as you can see, there's a brand new setup. I think there's going to be a lot changing on the channel, so brace yourselves. If you would be interested, you can book a reading on the website rubyreadstarot.com. All the love, all of the support, all of the nurture that you give the channel is truly greatly appreciated. If you would like to donate to the channel, you can do so. The details are in the description box also, so do take a look at that. Let's talk some astrology before we get into the actual reading. So on the 19th, the day that I'm recording this video, Mercury moves into your sign. Now, Mercury, the planet of communication, of trade, of sales, of interactions between two people. Going into your sign, I would expect some sort of bold communication. Add the dramatic flair. It's all about the confidence. It's all about the expression. And it's about focusing on the grand ideas. Chiron begins its retrograde in the sign of Aries. Now, this is taking a look at our internal wounds and being really ready and available for what it is that needs healing exactly. On the 22nd, the sun moves into the sign of Leo, and it's in its ruling sign. It's playtime. It's the middle of summer. Let's be playful. Let's go out. Let's be outgoing. Let's be dramatic. The spotlight is basically all on you, and it's about you having fun. It's about you dressing it. It's about you being as fun-loving and majestic as you can be in your season. On the 23rd, Ceres moves into Leo. And again, this is about nurturing your inner child. And it is about being fully present with what it is that needs healing. Mercury in Leo is trining Jupiter in Aries on that day. So spend the day in the spotlight. It's about promotions, recognition, opportunities, and it's about taking the lead. So you do that really well. On the 24th, Venus is in the sign of Cancer, squaring Jupiter in Aries. This is tricky energy because this can flare up jealousy and envy. Juno beginning its retrograde in Pisces on the next day. As you can imagine, this is energy that's leading to a build-up in tension. It's fire and water. So there's a lot of emotion here. On the 26th, Mercury in Leo is squaring Mars in Taurus, so it's about avoiding the new projects and the negotiations, merely because Leo and Taurus squaring Mercury and Mars, this can create all sorts of catastrophes, so it's better to avoid, I think, everything until the 28th, when we have the new moon in Leo. Again, this is about your inner child, it's about pleasure seeking, it's about starting new projects, it's about being creative and about being romantic. Jupiter begins its retrograde in the sign of Aries for 4 months. And so in this transit on the very same day, I think it's really important that we begin our focus on the internal selves as we become focused, I guess, and fully aware now on the self and maturation. Mercury in Leo is also squaring Uranus in Taurus on that day, and it is a bit of a destructive aspect. You know, people are really willing to burn bridges and wreak havoc, and just be careful not to get sucked into the drama. On the 30th, Mercury in Leo is in opposition with Saturn in Aquarius. This is an individualistic aspect, okay? It's perhaps a good idea to stay away from self-destructive people, just to avoid getting sucked into drama. On the 31st, the Sun in Leo will be trining Jupiter in Aries. And I think it's safe to say that of all of the solar transits, this is perhaps the best of them all. It's an extremely lucky day filled with success and big opportunities to soak in the spotlight. So, Leo, if you would be interested in booking a reading, you can do so on the website rubyreadstarot.com. Take a deep nourishing breath in for me, and let's get started with your cards. I want you to take a deep breath in, let it all go, and let's focus on the rest of July and the healing, the inner child work that's needed, being available for your own healing, and being really prepared and open to explore all of the possibilities of brand new ventures and avenues that you could take in order to create a more fulfilling, a more wholesome, a more satisfied version of yourself, where you are not necessarily trying too hard, or you're not necessarily trying to push harder than you need to push. The first card out for you is the card of victory. Leo, in mid-July, there is a apparent victory. There is something that is deemed triumphant for you. There's other people's input in here, and so that whatever this is that you're winning out on, whatever this victory is, just know that it is something that is celebrated by many. Okay, this is the win that you may have been looking for. This may also be the time that you decide to progressively take center stage. And when I say progressively take center stage, I mean it's like as if I know that whatever the energy of what you have been doing, it has been a bit of a build-up. And so I do feel like this has been a bit of a work in progress for you, Leo. However, I do think it's a really good time that you decide to celebrate your wins this birthday. I think you've come really far. I do feel like there's a lot that you've had to put in. So some cards fell on the floor. I'm going to have to pick them up. Excuse me, bear with me one moment, guys. Still getting used to the new setup. Okay, so for you, I have the Ace of Pentacles, the Four of Pentacles, and the Four of Swords. So I'm still getting used to this new setup. You guys will have to let me know how you like it. I feel like I haven't recorded in such a long time. I'm getting a bit nervous doing it again. Okay, so Leo, here we go. The Ace of Pentacles, the Four of Pentacles, and the Four of Swords. There is a financial victory that I think you're going to come into that's going to have you feeling really quite victorious. It's definitely an abundant opportunity. It's something involving your finances. This is one of those rags to riches kind of mid-months, Leo. I feel as if there was a lot that was stagnating. There was a lot that you were waiting to do that you couldn't. Energetically speaking, for whatever reason, you were kind of on a bit of a halt. You know, I think things weren't necessarily moving forward the way that they should have been. The thing is, when things begin to feel like they're stagnating a little bit, you get a really good opportunity to not only catch up on the much needed rest, but also to kind of get still enough to be able to recognize some of the patterns that had been going on in your life. I think that a lot of that stagnation had to do not only with your finances, but it was where you yourself were not ready to move forward, because all of the things that you needed lined up weren't necessarily ready. And so, 4 and 4. Just before change, it's about embracing the state that you're in. You're progressively moving towards some sort of victory. And mid-July is not only bringing you the financial evidence of it, but it's also rallying the troops. There is some internal work that does need doing here, Leo. And a lot of that has to do with where it is that you are not being bold or confident or focusing on the grand scheme of things. And where it is that you're not allowing yourself to be playful, you know, to really let playtime begin. I think the recognition and the opportunities that you want, the promotions, you begin to see them more around the 23rd of July. And then I think as the month progresses, you've got to really be careful of where it is that you let your destructive tendencies keep you in a stagnating place, and what it is that you can do to stay away from that kind of self-destructive energy, Leo. See where it is that you know that it is time for you to actively seek out the pleasure that you know that you have been depriving yourself of, I want to say, because everything is us pushed outwards. And so when it is that you are in a place where you are being asked to mature and become more self-aware and really focus on that internal self, you kind of got to ask yourself where it is that you might be holding onto comfort zones and how it is now time for you to really change up. You've had enough time, I feel, Leo. I feel like you've had enough time to kind of sit still, ponder, feel like you were stuck and stagnating, nothing wasn't really happening much. And now I do feel like after a period of like just really having to stay course, with the Magician card, I feel as if the rest of July gives you an opportunity to be really creative as the sun moves into your sign. Finances get better, being given the recognition and the reward that you deserve begins to get a lot easier. Not only with that, but with the Magician card here also, you have all of your resources. You've got all the tricks up your sleeve. You have everything that you need. And in order to really focus on as above, so below, it's a really good idea for you, Leo, to really distinguish between where it is that you might hold yourself back based on thinking that you know you should have let go of a really long time ago. As I said, you already have all of the resources. It's about you getting familiar with the tricks up your sleeve, and this might be one of those times, Leo, where you might have to really roll your sleeves up and get back to the magic. It's energy. Honestly, it's all just energy. And if it isn't there, if the motivation isn't there, if the spirit wasn't there, I think you'll find with the sun coming into your sign, that's exactly what you're being given, an opportunity to really look at your resources, look at the tricks up your sleeve, and kind of give yourself a kick up the butt and say, yeah, you know what, I can do it. And I think 2022 for you may have felt like a massive synchronicity that was really asking you to kind of get so still, get so caught up in that self-destructive stuff, only so you could build yourself back up stronger, like a true magician, Leo. Like any true magician. And so commitment and dedication, looking at those internal wounds and actually seeing what needs healing, and doing it with a focus on the grander idea, I think might encourage a lot more bold communication that's needed from you, Leo. And I do feel as if, you know, healing this inner child and starting these new projects, etc., might ask you to not only see where it is that you need to cut your losses and move on from situations, that's the Five of Cups, see where it is that you need to move on from situations where your focus and your attention may very heavily have been on the things that you can't do anything about, the things that you can't change, on what had gone, and not so much on what you still have with you. And I think with a much needed perspective change, you will also begin to find solutions to whatever the reason is that you can't. The High Priestess energy is the energy of really getting into a higher state of consciousness, of really allowing yourself some time to get educated on whatever is presently taking up a lot of your time. And so I say to you, Leo, energy goes where attention goes, you know? And I think you're being offered this opportunity right now to really look at where it is that you can be limitless and where you can sort of live between life's ups and downs, the joys, the goods and the bads, and really be present. Be present and focus entirely on the growth and the development and how it is that you can now push forward. The sun moves into your sign. It is fixed fire. And this is where the dance begins. This is the main event, you know, the best part of the year, as I say. I feel like you owe yourself this big show, Leo, and I feel like your soul needs it, and it may have been in the making for a while, and this is why I think end of July's reading was so important, because you need some time to clear your mind of how far, you know, of all of the reasons that you couldn't, or all of the reasons that it didn't or shouldn't or wouldn't, all of that kind of stuff. Okay, so the last two cards out at the bottom of the deck is the Three of Cups. So I just wanted to say that there is obviously some sort of celebration that is taking place with the Empress and the Page of Cups. It is super, super, super important, Leo, that you anticipate some sort of invitation. It's an invitation of love, one that must be made. It is one that I think you will be receiving. I feel as if mid-July is going to have you celebrating. It's going to have you in a place where you know that you've earned this. You know, you've worked for this, you've earned it, and you need to fully embody it. And so this is what I say. If you take this energy and if you're beginning to fully embody the victory and really get familiar with all of the things, all of the resources that you have at your disposal, as above, so below, Leo. So this is your opportunity to really shake things up and shift things and turn them around. With the Ace of Pentacles, the Three of Cups, and the Six of Wands, I would say that there's a victory in here for sure for you, Leo. Leo, I think that's all I have for you. If you enjoyed the video, do give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to take the reading further, please book a reading, Rubyreadstarot.com. You can become a member on the channel also for exclusive videos to lunar updates as well as money readings. Lots of love to you guys. Take care. Thank you so much for joining. All of my love. Bye.